When we talk about negative imperative sentences in direct and indirect speech, one key verb that comes into play is forbade. This verb is particularly interesting because it inherently carries the meaning of not. So, when we use forbade, we don't need to include not or do not in the indirect speech that follows. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine a scenario where a mother tells her daughter, "Do not pluck flowers from the garden." In indirect speech, we transform this to, "The mother forbade the daughter to pluck flowers from the garden." Notice how do not disappears and we use forbade instead. This is because forbade already implies a prohibition. Now, let's look at a few more examples to solidify this concept. Example 2. A teacher might say to a student, "Do not talk during the lecture." In indirect speech, we would say, "The teacher forbade the student to talk during the lecture." Again, do not is replaced by forbade, and we maintain the meaning of prohibition without redundancy. Example 3. A father might tell his son, "Do not stay out late." In indirect speech, we would say, "The father forbade the son to stay out late." Now, let's explore another aspect involving the use of sir or madam in direct and indirect speech. When someone addresses another person as sir or madam, we replace these terms with the word respectfully in indirect speech. For instance, if someone says to me, "All right, sir, I shall be very regular from tomorrow," the indirect speech would be, "He said to me respectfully that he would be very regular from the next day." The use of respectfully conveys the same level of respect without the direct address. Let's look at more examples. If a student says, "Thank you, madam, for your guidance," in indirect speech it becomes, "The student thanked the teacher respectfully for her guidance." Another example could be, "I appreciate your help, sir," which would turn into, "He expressed his appreciation respectfully for the help." These transformations are essential for maintaining the tone and meaning of the original statements while adhering to the rules of indirect speech. Understanding these rules not only enhances our grasp of English grammar, but also helps us communicate more effectively. So, remember, when you encounter negative imperatives, think of forbade as your go-to verb, and when addressing someone formally, replace sir or madam with respectfully to keep the respect intact in your indirect speech. This approach not only enriches your language skills, but also makes your communication clearer and more sophisticated.